Hello, my name is Sujata. I am one of the examiners for the Corporate and Business Law LW-MYS exam for ACCA. I will be doing a short presentation today, and the objective of this presentation is to provide an overview of the Corporate and Business Law LW-MYS examination and to help candidates prepare for success in the examination. In this presentation, I will cover several areas. We will begin by looking at the format and the structure of the LW-MYS examination. We will then continue with an overview of the syllabus, and here I will highlight some important information pertaining to examinable legislation. We will then look at the different types of computer-based exam or CBE exam questions used in the examination. After this, I will provide some feedback on candidates' performance in previous examinations. I will highlight the areas where candidates usually perform well in the exams and the areas where candidates' performance could improve. We will also look at some important matters that candidates should consider when preparing for the examination and during the examination itself. We will finish by looking at some of the available learning materials and support on the ACCA website. Let's begin by looking at the format of the LW-MYS exam. The LW-MYS exam is a 2-hour computer-based examination. The exam is available 4 sessions in a year, namely in March, June, September, and December. The exam is divided into 2 sections, Section A and Section B. Section A consists of 45 multiple-choice questions. Of these 45 questions, 25 questions carry 2 marks each, and 20 questions carry 1 mark each. Section B contains 5 scenario-based questions worth 6 marks each. All questions in Section A and Section B are compulsory. The exam is predominantly knowledge-based, although candidates are also expected to be able to apply legal principles to given scenarios. The questions in both sections A and B may cover all areas of the syllabus. It is very important to emphasize here that familiarity with the exam software will assist candidates greatly in the CBE exam. To assist candidates and learning providers in using the CBE software, a CBE specimen exam is available on the ACCA website. By referring to the CBE specimen exam, candidates will be able to experience firsthand how the exam is structured and also the style and the range of questions that could be asked in the examination. Moving on, in Section A of the LW-MYS exam, each MCQ question carries 1 or 2 marks. The 1-mark question contains 3 answer options. The 1-mark questions tend to be less complex and in the main focus only on knowledge. The 2-mark questions contain 4 answer options. These questions tend to be longer and more complicated. The 2-mark questions may incorporate a short problem scenario with application required. There is no partial credit. If a candidate selects the correct answer, 1 or 2 marks shall be awarded as the case may be. And if a correct answer is not selected, then no marks are awarded. In addition, the 2 or 3 incorrect distractor answers may all be plausible answers. Therefore, candidates' knowledge must be precise to be certain of arriving at the one correct answer for each MCQ question. Section A is worth 70 marks in total. Now moving on to Section B. Section B includes a scenario with questions based around the scenario, which could be in 2 or 3 parts. The questions in total are worth 6 marks each and will cover one area of the syllabus only. This section therefore requires analysis and application skills. The scenario-based questions is intended to test candidates' ability to identify the legal issue and apply the relevant law to the issue based on the circumstances of the scenario. Section B in total is worth 30 marks. Now, the format of the LW-MYS examination recognizes that finance professionals need to be able to understand aspects of law. The structure and content of the exam suits the skills and abilities of potential accountants, not potential lawyers. The aim of the syllabus is to develop knowledge and skills in the understanding of the general legal framework within which businesses takes place, and of specific legal areas relating to business, recognizing the need to seek further specialist legal advice where necessary. Accountants do not need to have all the legal knowledge that lawyers do, but they need to be able to recognize when the law is relevant and to identify a legal problem, and then to be able to refer to a specialist and to be able to appreciate the legal advice that they are given. Therefore, the syllabus of the LW-MYS examination focuses on the areas of law that are relevant to accountants. The syllabus for the June 2023 to March 2024 examination may be found on the ACCA website. The corporate and business law is essentially divided into 8 areas, as can be seen on this slide. The syllabus starts with an introduction to the Malaysian legal system, such as the court structure and sources of law. It then leads into the area of the law of obligations, including contract and tort, which govern and regulate business transactions in Malaysia. The syllabus then covers a range of specific legal areas relating to various aspects of business, of most concern to financial professionals. These are the law relating to employment and the law relating to companies. These laws include the formation and constitution of business organizations, the financing of companies and types of capital, and the day-to-day management, administration, and regulation of companies, and also the legal aspects of insolvency law. The final section links back to all the previous areas and deals with corporate fraudulent and criminal behavior such as insider trading, money laundering, and bribery. On successful completion of these exams, candidates should be able to do the following. First, identify the essential elements of the Malaysian legal system, including the main sources of law. Secondly, recognize and apply the appropriate legal rules relating to the law of obligations. Then next, to explain and to apply the law relating to employment relationships, to distinguish between alternative forms and constitutions of business organizations, to recognize and compare types of capital and the financing of companies, to describe and to explain how companies are managed, administered, and regulated, to recognize the legal implications relating to insolvency and corporate restructuring, and finally to demonstrate an understanding of corporate fraudulent and criminal behavior. The study guide published on the ACCA website includes a detailed analysis of each of the syllabus areas from A to H in the slide, with detailed study guide outcomes on what each one entails. The syllabus and study guide is updated annually, and it is important to check the summary of changes table at the back of the syllabus for any additions, deletions, or amendments to the syllabus. We will now spend some time talking about examinable legislation. ACCA publishes examinable documents once a year, which indicate exactly which legislation and regulations could potentially be assessed within the examinations. The general rule is that legislation passed or regulations issued on or before 31st May annually will be examinable in the June session of the following year to the March session of the year after that. A full list of the examinable legislation can be found on the ACCA's website. So, as this diagram on this slide illustrates, the new legislation issued by or before 31st May will be examined in the following exam year. Therefore, all legislation that was passed by or before 31st of May 2022 will be examinable in the exam year June 2023 until March 2024. So in the June 2023, September 2023, December 2023, and in the March 2024 examinations. We will now look at the different types of question types used in the exam. The first one is a multiple choice question, MCQ, which are the basic type of objective test questions, where a candidate has to select one answer from a number of given options. An example of such a question is shown on this slide. The example here shows a 1-mark MCQ question where the candidate has to select one answer from 3 options. As mentioned earlier, the 1-mark MCQ question tends to be less complex and in the main focuses only on knowledge. This slide shows 2 examples of a 2-mark MCQ question where a candidate has to select one answer from 4 options. These questions tend to be longer and more complicated. As can be seen on this slide, the 2-mark questions may also incorporate a short problem scenario with some application required. This slide shows an example of a Section B question. Section B consists of 5 questions, each question carrying 6 marks. Each question in this section will include a scenario, and specific questions will be asked based around the scenario, which could be in 2 or 3 parts. This section requires candidates to demonstrate analysis and application skills. The scenario-based questions are intended to test the candidate's ability to identify the legal issue in the scenario and then to apply the relevant law to the issue based on the circumstances of the scenario. Now, some feedback. From an analysis of exams, it can generally be said that candidates perform better in Section A of the exam than Section B, and also they perform better on the 1-mark questions in Section A than the 2-mark questions. The syllabus areas where candidates tend to perform well in the examination are on questions on the Malaysian legal system, on many aspects of contract law such as offer and acceptance, intention to create legal relations, consideration, capacity, and terms of contract. Students also perform well on most aspects of employment law and on some aspects of company law, in particular legal personality, formation, and constitution of a company. Areas of the syllabus where candidates tend to perform less well in the exams are as follows: capital and financing of companies and insolvency law and administration. Now, to ensure success in the LW-MYS examination, there are some important matters to remember. Firstly, adequate preparation is key for doing well in the examination. Candidates must be reminded that all areas of the syllabus will be covered in the exam. So candidates must ensure that they study and prepare for all areas of the syllabus. Questions can come from any part of the syllabus, and therefore selective studying is highly risky. Candidates are also advised to read the questions carefully and to take their time in reading and in thinking about what the question is asking before answering. For MCQ questions, if candidates are unsure, they should always try to eliminate other answer options to help them find the correct answer. Candidates should also do their best to answer all questions, even if they are unsure of the answer. For Section B, candidates should always read the questions carefully and ensure that they understand the scenario. A good answering technique for questions in Section B is as follows. First, identify the legal issue, then state the relevant law on the issue, and then apply the law and finally state the conclusion. Candidates should also write concise answers and go straight to the point when answering questions. It is crucial that candidates refer to past examinations and practice answering past year's questions. This can be done by accessing the CBE specimen exams on the ACCA website. From previous exams, it can be seen that time management is a skill that many candidates are able to demonstrate, with the majority of candidates having time to address all the questions in the exam. Time management is particularly important with the current exam format, where candidates have an increased number of shorter questions to tackle in the exam and cannot afford to get caught up for too long with, for example, one tricky MCQ question. Candidates should use the mark allocation to manage their time across the exam based on 1.2 minutes per mark. This means 1.2 minutes for a 1-mark MCQ, 2.4 minutes for a 2-mark MCQ, and 7.2 minutes for a Section B question. I will conclude this presentation by reminding you of the learning materials and support that is available for the LW-MYS examination. Please make use of the study resources indicated on this slide, all of which are available on the ACCA website as support for the exam. As mentioned previously, the CBE specimen exam on the website is a valuable tool for exam preparation. This CBE specimen exam replicates the LW-MYS exam and gives candidate a chance to complete an exam in a practice environment. 2 previous CBE past exams are available on the ACCA website with sample questions and sample answers. An examiner's report is produced after each exam session, giving insights into where candidates perform well and areas for improvement. This also includes some examples of Section A answers. The syllabus and the study guide are available and updated annually. A list of examinable documents as previously discussed are also produced annually. And finally, there are technical articles available that are relevant to the exam. All of these materials are available on the ACCA website. I hope you found this presentation useful. Thank you very much for listening.